Welcome to this great adventure of two sisters.
Absolutely not. Hey guys, welcome to the Regina Kids podcast. I am your host, Maxie.
With her lovely younger sister, Rita the Ham.
And here on the podcast, as you can see, sibling relationships can be loving and sometimes a bit
dramatic.
Affect me, please. Complicated. So, join us every week as we explore all aspects of having a sibling.
Come be our sibling.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome.
Hola.
Okay. To another episode of Regina Kids Podcast. I am your host, Maxie. How are you guys today? What's up, sibling?
What's up? And I am Rita, the younger fabulous sister.
Okay.
I just feel like being extra today.
Extra with a side of extra.
Oh,
Ain't nothing wrong with a little extra. So,
because you extra too.
what you got going on right now, Rita?
I'm hungry.
Wow. Okay. So,
nothing much going on. Moving, shaking, the usual.
So, there are a lot of what I call makeshift holidays, like, Hallmark holidays, stuff that people just make shit up. So, makeshift holidays. So, you got Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Sweetest Day, all of these days. And I realized that there is another makeshift holiday that I probably need to put in place. I know in previous podcasts we discussed that neither one of us has children. We do have three nieces and a nephew from our oldest sister, and our oldest niece has a son. But there is a day called Aunt and Uncle Day. It's actually Tuesday, July 26th, 2022 of this year.
Whoop,
So,
whoop. And they not called makeshift holidays. They're called Hallmark holidays, meaning you go to Hallmark and get a card.
They can be called whatever I want them to be called. They make shit holidays. So, National
I'm
Uncles,
okay with this. I'm okay
Aunt
with this topic.
and Aunt's Day is this year, July 26th, 2022. Just for anybody who needed to know that, that's the auntie or uncle. Make your
Or
nieces
if you
and
want us
nephews
to be
buy
your
buy you
auntie,
a gift.
if you want us to be your hot, sexy aunties, we're happy to do that too.
That's all on
Spreading
Rita.
the love.
That's all on Rita. That is all on Rita. I do way too much right now for my nieces and my nephew to be volunteering to be somebody else's auntie. Which brings me to the topic of today, which is the rich aunties. I know calling somebody auntie now is like a trend. Everybody's like, "Oh,
It's an
that's my
easy way
auntie."
for them to call you old. The shit is disrespectful. It ain't nothing trending about it. They call you an auntie. They saying that you old.
I'm just
Mad
saying.
shade.
That's just something that be trending now. Everybody is an auntie. Like that's my auntie. So I've been an auntie for 20 something years now, so it don't bother me to be an auntie.
It don't bother
Um
me either.
so Rita, what do you think the definition of rich auntie is? Like what is your definition of a rich auntie?
They be thinking we got money.
Hmm. Well, I Googled it, the meaning of a rich auntie, and it says rich aunties aren't defined by monetary wealth. Not that a hefty number of digits in your bank account hurts, but their wealth is in bounds to their knowledge, confidence, love, compassion, strength, and softness.
Oh, I'm rich as hell then.
So now you shouldn't mind that definition of a rich auntie.
But I'm sure if you go and you call one of our nieces right now and you be like, what's a rich auntie to you? She'd be like, they're going to be like, y'all, because y'all got all the money.
No, I always put it off on you. as to be the rich auntie.
That's
I'm not
so
the rich
disrespectful.
auntie in the
So,
monetary form. So when they want to ask for extra with a side of extra, call TT Rita.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
But with that being said, how do you feel the dynamic is being an auntie?
I think it's honestly dope. You can go, you can have fun, and you can leave them there
Hmm. Leave them where?
at their house.
What? Oh, you talking about just going, spending time with them, and not having to take them home,
Yeah.
as opposed to like being a parent and having to always have your kids.
Oh yeah, that part.
I guess that makes sense. I know I always like to explain to our nieces like um, these new age aunties are different. Like I know for me, I have um, a few aunts on my mother's side. I don't have any aunts on my dad's side. My daddy only had brothers, so I didn't have any aunties. But I have to explain to my nieces like I go like these new age aunties and meaning myself, we kind of go over and beyond, and it could be because I know in my case it's because I love kids, so I'll
Yeah.
do anything. Trick love the kids. I do anything for the freaking kids.
Sometimes I look at
But
her like she crazy. Like,
but well, I know I had to explain to my nieces one time, like, my aunties never, like, I know it's some people out there who have aunties. Like, one of my best friends has an aunt that didn't have kids either, and she, like, spoiled them to death. Like, she treat them probably the same way I treat my nieces and nephew. Like, they go over and beyond for them. But, like, I had to tell my nieces one time, like, my aunts back in the day, we used to spend time with them. Like, I talk to them now, but they don't,
yeah, they don't
make
do all
every birthday,
at
Christmas,
all.
holidays, school performances and stuff like that. Like they didn't really step in when my mama didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So it's for me, um, being their auntie is an amazing experience. I
It
think
is.
that in life, especially with the kids that surround me, I just want them to always feel loved, always feel that they have someone to talk to. I know a lot of times in this day and age, people talk so badly about these kids and oh, they soft and they not like how we used to be and this, that, and the other. And
But
I
I
get
mean, when
that.
people say that, they need to also take into account the generation before. It's a domino effect down because, like, if you think about our parents, the things that they drilled into us is the things and opportunities that they weren't able to have for themselves. Like, they had to fight in order to get the things that they have and those opportunities. So they would drill into us. You need to go to college. You need to work. You need to do this. You need to do that. And but in in that time, I know, like, for us, we still had struggles. We still, you know went without water, your water being on, your lights cut off, you know what I'm saying? Like, no cable, phone might be on, phone might not, because those was the struggle of having a single mother. She worked her ass off, but sometimes you still just don't have enough. So for that next generation with us and having kids, we work hard at making sure that our kids didn't have to go through everything that we went through before.
That's that's true too. Cause I sometimes explain it as if like um our parents' generation, those are like that's people who parents are in their 60s and they were born, in the 50s, grew up in the 70s. Like they were in survival mode, is what I say.
Hmm.
So they were like in survival mode. Like they were just trying to make it, especially since in the 80s with the crack epidemic and drugs was really heavy, and a lot of people
Yep.
who grew up in the 80s and who were born in the 80s and the late 70s grew up in the 80s and the 90s. um, I know for me and a lot of people that I know, um, they had to experience their parents being on strung out on drugs or dibble and dabble with drugs, being
Right.
functional alcoholics and things of that nature. It seems like the 70s was they was really lit, like they were getting it in. So
Yeah.
my generation of people who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, we kind of hustlers. Like it's right,
They hustling.
is make it or break it for for our generation, and then the ones after us, it was kind of like they're a little spoiled. Like they, like the parents who had to hustle made it a point that their kids never had to go without. So that's the era of the kids now that since birth been wearing name brand and Jordans and you know experience a totally different lifestyle. They didn't
It's
have
the I
to.
call it the generation of entitlement because like when you hear how some of these children talk and even within expressing themselves, it has a lot of residue of entitlement in it. And that drives me crazy. But at the same time, we have to remember that they are a product of, what I'm saying, our generation. And two, social media and all of that other stuff too plays a major part in it also.
I get that. I wouldn't call them entitled. I would just say that.
I said residue.
But you said they have entitlement issues with it.
They do.
But I wouldn't call it entitlement because to me, it's kind of like if you grew up and never had a reason to struggle, you don't feel like you don't know what that feels like. Like you don't know what it feels like to have to work um all through your high school years. Some of them didn't have to work jobs. Like our nieces didn't they don't work during high school. Like they got a job after they turned 16 in the summer by choice, not because it was, you were trying to make sure that you had your school, you and your sister. Well, in my case, I worked during the summers. Well, I worked all through high school to make sure I had school fees and, different things that me and you needed that maybe my mama didn't always was able to afford. That was the reason why I worked. That's not to me. That's like breaking a generational curse when it comes to our nieces because they don't have to. They didn't have to endure that type of situation. Like they don't have to work during. They don't have to work during the high school during the time where they need to be focusing on their academics and stuff like that. They can actually live and be kids. So, um, I think that's a big difference because, you know, um, yeah, it's just a big difference. Just the way that we had to grow up versus the way my nieces grow up now is totally different. So they have the opportunity to be children, basically. Because a
Right.
part of my childhood was missed with having to take on responsibilities of making sure that my siblings was okay. They don't have to have that the pressures of that. So it's a little different. I mean, not everybody's situation is the same, but I believe it's a little different.
It is. I mean, I can agree with that, but I do still think that okay, I'll rephrase. They're not all have entitlement, but some of them do have some major entitlement issues,
Maybe that's just the kids that you deal with.
or that I seen. Maybe, I guess.
So, Rita, since you are a rich auntie,
I'm not.
what would you say
I'm not.
is something that you're most proud of by being an auntie? Like what? what makes you most happy?
Um, just seeing my nieces laugh, smile, I'm saying, joking with them, seeing how they're growing into the wonderful little young ladies that they are, you know. That really brings me joy.
Hmm. So my experience is a little different. Like what makes me happy is that my nephew, who will be 5
Oh my god.
in in June, um, that he FaceTimes me all the time. He is the reason why I became my my iPhone user. Um, when he was like 1 years
He
old,
clean checked her
he
the other day.
he learned how to FaceTime people, and I was convinced that at 1 years old, my niece could teach my nephew how to um, work a different app, but
Nope.
she refused to teach him that. So I was forced to turn into the land of the iPhone because my only nephew, well, my youngest nephew, I do have another nephew through my god sister, but he's grown. My baby nephew was not going to be FaceTiming everybody else but his TT. So, um, yeah, I had to change iPhones. That's what makes me proud that I had to change phones so that he could call me.
That is ridiculous.
And at 1 years old, it's not like he was able to really speak. It was more like Gerber talk and him slobbing on the phone, but I did not care. I could not be left out. So
He is an
that makes
amazing
me
boy.
proud that me and my nephew have that relationship where he just calls me to play the game in my face and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess that's part of being an auntie.
It is. I know
Um,
one other thing was, oh, when Mia started really braiding, like that was
and who is
so
Mia?
dope. Huh?
Nobody knows who Mia is. Who is Mia?
Oh, sorry. Our middle niece, she about to be 17, but she became a hair braider. So seeing that come out with seeing one of my nieces be in the hair industry was super dope.
Yeah, she was like me in a sense. She was a naturally talented hair braider. She's
Yeah, I
self-taught.
remember she how old she was, because she was into this phase of all of the Disney princesses. Like she would, I know, for 1 year for her birthday she dressed up as, was that Snow White? Was that Snow White that she dressed up?
Yep.
Yeah, she dressed up as Snow White. We got a picture of her sitting on my floor in my apartment by the door, and she got her little dowel and she braiding the hell out of her head. I mean, those things. I was like, oh, she gonna be heavy handed because how hard she was braiding that dowel head. But it was an amazing sight to see.
Yeah, she's definitely just sometimes it's just amazing to see these kids and their talents. Like she is a self-taught hair braider. Like she's taught herself how to do French braids, um, soft dreads. Like she's definitely trying to perfect her craft.
Hmm.
She's also like a candle maker now. So it's to me, I think with growing up how we grew up, being able to allow them to be kids and be able to let them try different things and cultivate their talents and just watching them to be able to do whatever it is they put their mind to do. I always like to push that with them, my god kids, like any kids that I'm around, like you could be whatever you want to be. Like don't allow anybody to put you in a box. Like whatever it is that you want to do, you do. Um, I know for me, I don't like to put the expectation, like I don't like when people put their expectations on what you should be doing or what your
Oh
how
yeah.
your life should be, um to try to make you be what to basically live their life through you. Like just because you didn't step out on faith and live your dreams, you shouldn't press that on somebody else to do. So that's just me. With that being said, all the rich aunties, congratulations to y'all. Happy
Happy
Auntie
Auntie
Day.
Day. Happy Uncle Day.
Whenever,
I know some
whenever
great
that,
uncles out there too.
I don't know when this show is going to air, maybe close to that day or not, but either way, July 26th, 2022, make sure y'all celebrate Auntie and Uncle Day. If you a rich auntie, check in because I know the stigma around rich aunties now is that they got that bag, they like to travel, they like to, go and do it all. So,
Yeah, we go to brunch.
they go to day parties and get drunk, I guess, whatever. But
Going to
drop
brunch
a
don't have anything to do with getting drunk.
most people go to brunch for unlimited mimosas or something like that.
I mean, that's a bonus.
But if you're a rich auntie, drop us a sib note at Regina's Kids Podcast at gmail.com and let us know how much you love your nieces and your nephews, and what are some of the things that you and your nieces and your nephews do to have fun. I know a lot of us that don't have kids overly love on our nieces and our nephews, and we just want to make sure that they have everything that we didn't and more. So I know I'm definitely on the hunt to continue to keep up in the bag because I just want them, uh, as well as looking up to their parents and their grandparents and other people in the family that they can be proud of or see me out here living their dreams and doing what they want to do. I definitely want to be a part of that tribe. It takes a village to raise these kids now. Everybody needs support. They expensive. I know some of these kids can't live without the name brands, and
That, does that still go on? It takes a village to raise a child.
it definitely do. Why wouldn't it?
I mean,
Everybody need
everybody's
assistance.
doing new, like there are new things. It's new parenting around here.
New
Now,
parenting or not, everybody need assistance, in my
oh yeah,
opinion.
or parents need
Because
break.
you still want your kids to be well-rounded individuals and be productive members of society.
Oh, most
And for me, I always want them to be able to have somebody else to speak to if they're not 100% comfortable talking to their parents about something that's going on with them. I always want to be, a person for an advocate for them to be, because I tell them all the time, like, hey, y'all need somebody to come up to the school. Your auntie is always available and ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
ride or
So,
die. You
that's part
rocking,
of the
I'm rolling.
reason. I mean, outside of trying to express myself and not lose my mind after I lost my dad. Another reason why I push my first book so hard, as far as All My Broken Crayons Still Color, the daily affirmation book with the journal in the back, is so that parents can get that book and have an open dialogue with their kids with the journal in the back, where you can help them to be able to express themselves if they're not able to speak. Because I know a lot of times parents still raise their kids with that old school mentality, like, seen and not heard, or don't talk back, or not be able to, get out what they need to get out. A lot of times they aren't able to express that, be able to use their voice. Like growing up, I was not one of those kids. Like, my mom was raised in an era where they weren't able to speak their mind and say what they wanted to say. So the way we grew up, we was able to say everything. Sometimes I took it a little far, part of being a
Understand?
little extra, but I was never one to not say how I feel. Cause one, I can't hide my facial expression. So if I'm mad, you gonna know I'm mad.
Oh yeah,
So I am definitely an advocate of speaking your truth, telling your story, being out, just as long as it's not in a disrespectful way,
right.
you know. I had to learn that the hard way sometimes growing up too, because again, I used to take it a little too far, and things get a little out of hand. I think that's another story for another day. I think
Yeah,
we'll
I think it's
definitely
just like with
get
anything
to
when it
that.
comes to communication, just having that safe space for your nieces, your nephews, if you're your uncle, or most definitely parents, just having that safe space for them to be able to come and talk to you without judgment. Because a lot of times they feel like, oh, if I go and I talk to my mom or my dad or my auntie, my uncle about how I'm feeling or what I'm going through, one, that they're not going to understand, and two, that they're going to judge me for it, or I'm going to hurt them, or I'm scared to even get my feelings hurt and things like that. So just create that safe space. I guess that's my sip note for today. Create, be okay and get comfortable with having those uncomfortable conversations with your children.
Most definitely. My says no, that's gonna be rich aunties continue to get the bag, continue to travel the world, continue to
Be an
see places that
inspiration.
wasn't, as popular as it used to be. I know that in recent years, like I explained to my niece before, like back in the day, traveling was not pushed as much as it is right now. It wasn't one of those things that everybody was just doing. Everybody wasn't just. There's a lot of people that took trips and seen the world and stuff like that, but that wasn't a big um that wasn't a big thing right now. I mean, back then. Right now, it is super trendy to be on somebody's island with your feet in the sand,
Yeah,
and
ass in the water.
I definitely push that on my nieces to travel, see the world, try something new, do whatever it is you want to do. If you think you like it, try it. You know what I'm saying, career wise or whatever. Like sometimes you just don't know. So hey, but as always, drop us a sib note again, like and subscribe on all podcast platforms, and we will definitely see you guys on the next episode. It is
Oh
still
yeah.
summertime. We hope you are out there enjoying your life, enjoy the moment. I know now vlogging is a big thing, and always having your phone out and record everything you do and taking pictures and stuff like that. But if you find yourself out here this summer, just going to concerts since the world is open back up, comedy shows, fairs, whatever you like to do in the summer, comedy shows and concerts, music and stuff. That's my jam.
Hmm.
Um,
Take time just to enjoy the moment. Like, don't worry about making sure it's documented for your social media accounts. Like, take time to put your phone back in your pocket and just enjoy that time in that moment in what you're doing.
Most definitely. Um, yeah, snap your few selfies, record a couple of songs, and then rock out with your cock out. Well, not literally, but
Okay,
I do,
Maxie. All
I do
right.
like saying that a lot. But that
You're getting
that's
a
my
little
way
feisty
of
now.
that's my rocking out with your cock out is my way of saying, basically enjoy your life.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
what you need to do for you. And once again, we will continue to glow through whatever it is we're going through and enjoy this thing called life. We'll see you on the next episode of Virginia's Kids.
Bye, guys. See you later.